My dream to become a pilot began when I was 7, and my dad took me to my first air show. The pilots, they look like superheroes. The next year, my dad took me to see the movie Top Gun. I walked out of there knowing exactly what I wanted. I'm gonna ride motorcycles, I'm gonna meet the girl of my dreams, and I'm gonna fly airplanes for the rest of my life. So, at 18, I bought a Honda VTR Interceptor and I started flight school. At 24, I married Adrian, the girl of my dreams. 3 months after watching the Twin Towers collapse on 9/11/2001, I graduated from Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, one of the most prestigious and expensive pilot training programs in the whole world, just as pilots across the country were losing their jobs. So I sell mobile phones, and then I sell cars, and then I work construction, and then I clean pools, and eventually I land a job at Target stocking shelves on the night shift. And I'm a good son, so every week I call my mom. And no matter what job I'm doing at the time, she always says, well, at least you're paying the bills. Growing up, she would buy me toys, posters, models of all kinds of airplanes. But soon her battle with pancreatic cancer is over, and her last memory of me is not as a pilot, but as a stock boy. And I start struggling to sleep. So I distract myself with that late night TV, you know, those infomercials. And there's just one commercial I keep watching over and over and over again. It says Tony Robbins' Get the Edge program. Get the edge. I got the edge. I got the prestigious degree. I got the best pilot training. I got the debt to prove it. I didn't need to get the edge. But I watched this commercial like 10 more times. And I start to wonder, what if it works? So I dial a number, and a week later I'm sitting on my couch and I'm listening to the first CD. And Tony Robbins, he says, put your shoes by your bed, wake up, and you go for a walk. Fine. So the next morning I wake up, put on my shoes, I walk out the front door, and I hit play. And Tony says, let's do 3 minutes now of gratitude. Gratitude. For what? I'm supposed to be living Top Gun. What does a guy like me have to be grateful for? Screw you, Tony Robbins. And just then, I hear him say, you say, I'm not grateful. I got nothing to be grateful for. But if you wanted to be grateful, what could you be grateful for? And I see my shadow. And I grew up in Seattle. Seattle, you don't see your shadow a whole lot. I'm grateful for the sunshine. I'm grateful for the sunshine. And I can feel the heat. And I feel something in me shift. I'm grateful for my mom. I'm grateful for my dad. I'm grateful for Adrian. I'm grateful for my college degree, for the chance to fly airplanes. And I went on and on and on. And I came home from that walk changed. Instead of focusing on everything I'd lost, instead of choosing to be incapable of overcoming the smallest obstacles or reaching even the nearest destinations, now I was focused on what I had, which was more than enough. So I sit down at my kitchen table and I come up with a 20-year plan. In 20 years, I will be a captain for the largest airline in the world. And this step-by-step plan I come up with, it looks ridiculous and insane. I'm a stock boy. But the goal isn't to just pay the bills. So I quit that day. Now, I'm not saying I went for a walk on a sunny day and all my dreams came true. I screwed up. I made mistakes. There were dark moments of unemployment, financial strain, family stress. But when those moments came, I returned to gratitude. I focused on my resources, and what no longer served me, I let go. In 18 years, 5 months, and 29 days, after sitting at that kitchen table, I became a captain for the largest airline in the world. because I fueled that plan with gratitude. Now, I think about fuel all the time. When I prepare for a flight, one of the first things I check is my fuel load, because every flight I face obstacles. There's weather, there's reroutes, there's delays, there's turbulence. And fuel's a resource, but it's a limited one. It gives me time, altitude, speed, distance. Its flexibility is options. But once it's gone, so are my choices. In 1983, an Air Canada Boeing 767 ran out of fuel and turned into a 120-ton glider, and was fortunate enough to find and land on a racetrack in a town named Gimli. In the aviation community, we call that plane the Gimli glider. Because airplanes, they're not like cars. You just can't fill them up with fuel and go. Airplanes can take off heavy with lots of fuel, but if you land heavy, you can blow a tire or crack a landing gear. So you got to get the fuel right. Once I was flying a private jet from New York City to Scotland with a fuel stop in eastern Canada. And my captain, George, he told the fueler to top off the 2 wing tanks. I didn't know that. I opened up the valves to all 8 tanks. George wanted 9,000 pounds of fuel. I gave him 20,000 pounds. And when I told him, he slammed his clipboard on the ground. What were you thinking? We're going to be thousands of pounds or a max landing weight. So we took off and we flew low and we flew slow and we dragged that plane through the sky, engines burning up all the extra fuel and all the flight's profits until we were light enough to land. Too much fuel and I'm burning more just to carry it, not enough, and I may not reach my destination. And this is how I use gratitude in my 20-year plan. I fueled that plan with gratitude, the greatest human resource. It fuels us up, it doesn't pollute, there's no waste, it's infinitely renewable. Gratitude gives us the fuel we need because it makes us aware of the people, the resources, the assets within our reach. And we can be strategic, taking on just the right amount to reach our destination, but not burn up our energy on even good people or good things that still weigh us down. When I think back on my parents, both born in the 1930s, shaped by the Great Depression and a World War, that's a generation built on resilience. To them, gratitude meant survival, a roof, food, steady work. When my mom said, well, at least you're paying the bills, for her that was enough. To ask for more, I almost felt ungrateful. But if you're not grateful for much, you're not fueled up to go very far. My parents lived a simple life, grounded in simple gratitude. And I'm deeply thankful for that foundation. They gave me the freedom to dream bigger. I could watch Top Gun and imagine flying a jet. I could dream of motorcycles and eventually buy 5. I could search for the girl of my dreams and marry her. But because my dreams were bigger, I needed more. I needed the prestigious degree, the expensive flight training, the debt, friends, mentors, hundreds of other resources. My 20-year plan wasn't just about ambition. It was fueled with consistent, strategic gratitude and propelled with massive action. Today, when I speak to or work with leaders, parents, or students, the first thing we check is our mindset, because when we begin with gratitude, we fuel ourselves up to meet the demands of the day, of the year, or even the next 20 years. And there's something I've noticed about this upcoming generation. Last year, I took my wife and 3 kids to South America, and we met incredible people. We shared meals in their homes, we visited their churches, schools, and communities, and when we came home, something in my kids had shifted. My teenage daughters, Brooklyn and Michelle, they told us they wanted to serve missions in South America. They want to change lives. And that's what I've noticed about this upcoming generation. They don't want to just succeed personally, they want to help change the lives of others. My parents, they wanted a life. I wanted a lifestyle. This next generation, they want to change lives. So, Brooklyn, Michelle, Kyle, here's my advice. Be grateful for the simple things, like Grandma and Grandpa were. Be grateful for the comforts and opportunities you enjoy, like your mom and dad are. And be grateful for the abundance that surrounds you, because if you are, you'll have all the fuel you need to make your dreams come true. Thank you.